President Carter reiterated his request for the UFO information, saying that he had his own person in mind to be the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, which happened to be Teddy Sorensen at the time. And Bush at that time then refused to provide the information to him, saying that he did not have adequate clearances, he was not the president yet, and that he should ask his own Central Intelligence Agency director for that. But if he wanted to have the information ahead of time, that what he could do is he could contact the Science and Technology Committee of the House of Representatives, and that they had an ongoing relationship with the Science and Technology Division of the Congressional Research Service that could go about getting things declassified to show him. That is what generated the request from the Congressional Research Service to me as the General Counsel for the Jesuit headquarters in the United States, asking if I could gain access to the Vatican Library to obtain the information that the Vatican has in its library, in its classified sections, to deliver to the President for his review. I did that. I contacted the Jesuit, who happens to be the head of the Vatican Library, requesting this information, and much to my surprise, I was denied information. I wrote a second letter to them saying, look, I guess you must not know who we are here. This is the Jesuit headquarters in the United States. We have 10 provinces here in the United States, more than any other country in the world, and we're requesting this information to share with the President. They still declined. So I had to report that to Marcia Smith, who was the head of the Science and Technology Division of the Library of Congress Congressional Research Service. And she asked if I would be willing to become counsel, special counsel, to this investigation that was being conducted by the Science and Technology Committee. I agreed to do this. And I told her that I would need to have access to certain kinds of information that I would like to have declassified or get to see it. And she said, what would you like to see? And I said, well, the first thing I'd like to see is the classified sections of Project Blue Book. Those sections that have been referred to by Mr. Dolan earlier and by Gordon as not really available. Much to our surprise, I was granted permission to see them. And they brought them to Washington, and they brought them over to the Jefferson Building, the extension to the Congressional Library, before it was even open. The brand new building that they built across the street. And so I was invited to come over there. I went over there. No one else was in the building. They had security people at the door. And I went over, and I was brought downstairs into a room where they had these shoe boxes with microfilm in them and documents, etc. And in my review of those documents, I came upon photographs of unquestioned UFOs. There wasn't any question about what they were. It wasn't a light in the sky. It wasn't a vague report about having seen something going very fast by. These were photographs, official United States Air Force photographs, some taken through gun sites, but another one of a crashed saucer on the ground. There was snow in the photographs. It showed the saucer had hit into a field and had plowed across the field and was stuck into a snowbank set up about a 45-degree angle. And they had told me that I wasn't allowed to take any notes when I went in there. The two security men at the door told me I was not allowed to take any notes. But I actually had a yellow pad under my arm when I went in, like this. And so when I went in and when I saw these photographs, what I did is I cranked down the focus on the machine so that I could get a close-up view of these symbols that were around the dome of the UFO. And what I did is I opened up the yellow pad and I put the yellow pad in there and I traced the actual symbols that were along the base of the saucer. And then I closed it up and I said, I think I'd probably better leave now because I have this. So what I did is I put all the stuff back into the boxes and I put the little yellow pad under my arm and I walked back out and the two security guys said, I'd like my briefcase back. They handed me my briefcase and I started to walk away. And one of them says, what's that under your arm? And I said, oh, this is a yellow pad. And he opened it up and he leafed through all the pages and there was nothing there. And so, because I put it on the inside of the cardboard. And so I took that back with me to Jesuit headquarters And I brought it to Father Bill Davis, who was my superior at the Jesuit headquarters. And we then agreed to go. We gathered all 54 of the major religious denominations, their Washington, D.C. offices. And we brought them into a meeting, and we proposed to them from the Jesuit National Headquarters that we establish as a priority having the churches try to ascertain what information we could get, and that we could get the backing of the churches and then go to the Vatican Library and see if we could start to address this.